Satnam, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind, and this is your channel for grace. Thank you guys so much for being here live, and thank you to those of you that are watching the replay. Today we are going to talk about the new moon in Cancer that is happening tomorrow. We're going to go over the astrology of the new moon, what it means, what it represents, and also look at the human design, where this moon is happening in the lens of human design. And then also through the gene keys, which is what I love to do. So before we dive in, I want to say hi to everyone that's here in the chat. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Diane. Hello, Shayna. Welcome in. Jeanette is here. Rebecca. Hello. Jill, Raessa, Cole. Welcome. Kiki and Anastasia. And if you are here watching live, please say hi. I love the live chat interaction when I'm doing these videos. Hello, Shelly. Welcome in. All right. So before we dive in, I want to say thank you to all new subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure that you do and that you hit the notification bell so you get notified of when I go live and when I upload videos. But even better, I want to invite you to join our global community, which is hosted on Mighty Networks. And it is the place to connect with other members from this space, from this community. And I also host events. I have an event coming up, which is all about Uranus in Gemini. We're going to do a Kundalini yoga class / breath work and also a sound bath for Uranus entering into Gemini, which is a really powerful shift that we're experiencing both collectively and individually. And it is so activating that, and it rules the nervous system, that doing something to ground ourselves, to connect, to tap in, and to open up to the Pleiadian energy. Because when Uranus enters Gemini, he's going to be activating a powerful Pleiadian stargate that happens on Alcyone, which is the main star of the Pleiades, every, I don't know how many years, 84 years. So we've got an 84-year transit that will be coming up, and he'll be at this 0 degree for about a month or so. And so we'll be gathering together and tuning into the energy and opening up to the powerful Pleiadian stargates through Uranus. So that's going to be really fun. And wherever you have any Gemini placements, Uranus will be passing over them. So bringing in revolution, bringing in change, bringing in transformation and transmutation into our lives. And we'll at least have something to tune into that energy together. So that event is being hosted in the global community. I also want to invite you to join the Starseed membership, where we just had our special Saturn in Aries workshop. We talked about what Saturn represents, Saturn in Aries, when he's going to be going retrogrades. We went over all of the major transits that Saturn is making to other planets during his transit through the sign of Aries. And then I went through and we talked about Saturn cycles in life. And I showed you how to figure out which Saturn cycle you are currently experiencing and how that applies to any Saturn transit. And we also went through each house and looked at what does it mean if Saturn is transiting that specific house in your chart. What theme, what area of life is he activating? Is he calling you forth to focus and explore? It was an amazing workshop, and the replay is now available, and it's part of the Starseed membership. And that's just one of the amazing things that we do together. It's Cancer season. The sun just entered into Cancer, and we just had the summer solstice. So happy summer solstice to everyone. And if you have not gotten your copy of Seasons and Stargates, please check it out. This is your annual astrology guide for 2025 and 2026. It goes through the astrology of the entire year, season by season, looking into what is the general theme of that season, what does it represent, what are the ruling energies. It also goes into the astrology. I give you a list of astrology transits, and then I tell you what is my interpretation of the astrological energy for the month, as well as dive into a channeled message from each new and full moon and a ritual that you can do, a card reading that you can do on your own every month, looking into the crystal that we work with for the month, and also the moon center frequency, and you get guided through how to work with that energy for myself for the month. And we also look into essential oils that are great to use to balance the energy of the season and what the season brings in. So that is very exciting. And in fact, let's actually hop on over to the book. This is what the book looks like. I'll actually show you Cancer season real quick. So every season comes with the ruling energies. And I go over this information as well in the Starseed membership. We follow the year along with the book. So this is the description of Cancer season, the transits, the list of transits, as well as the astrology of the month. And then we land at the new moon in Cancer. So let's talk about this new moon. It is a very powerful new moon. And we're going to look at the astrology chart in a moment. But this moon is happening June 25th of 2025 at 4 degrees and 8 minutes of Cancer. There's no significant stargates being activated, but Jupiter is with this moon, which is really significant. The system of the body that this moon activates is the lymphatic system. And the chakra is the sacral chakra. Hey, Rochelle, welcome in. And so this energy of the sacral chakra along with the lymphatic system has to do with movement. And I'm receiving a very personal message right now from myself regarding this specific thing. But any place where you feel stuck, movement is needed. Because the sacral chakra and the lymphatic system is all about movement. And when these energies are blocked, there's no creativity, there's no flow, there's just stagnation. So the stagnation will bring kind of health issues also, as well as emotional issues. So the key is to keep the waters flowing, keep the rivers flowing with this energy of Cancer. So anybody feeling emotional during this time, I know I certainly am. I am experiencing some like internal shadows showing up within myself and having to really look at them. But also, you know, we've started level 2 of the Moon Goddess training, and we're diving into the Venus sequence. So it is natural that we're going to feel this intense, but Cancer energy can bring up a lot of emotion. So you may be feeling emotional right now as well. Hello, Lori. Welcome in. She says she loves the 50-second Jinky. Oh, nice. And Michonne is here as well. And Shala, welcome. Yeah. So it's significant to understand that there's so many layers to the information. And that's why I love to look at the astrology, the Jinky, and the human design of the moon, so we get a full picture of really what's going on. And these 3 systems call us to look at the energy in 3 very different languages. So astrology is very archetypal and hermetic. Human design is very strategic. It focuses the energy. It tells us where to look. And then with the Jinkies, it brings in the beautiful poetic side of understanding life, the very sacred divine feminine side, the yin-like energy of what this represents. So we're going to look at all of them. Hello, Karina, welcome in. So let's hop on over to the astrology chart, which is actually, I believe, right here. Okay. So the way that you know that we have a new moon happening is that you're going to see the sun and the moon together at the exact same degree and minute in astrology. So 4 degrees, 7 minutes of Cancer. And yes, this happens to be on the 52nd Jinky and the 52nd gate. And we'll go there next. But you can start to think about the correlations of the 3 systems working together in this way. Rebecca says, been feeling big emotions today working with my shadows. For sure. Same. Okay. What's significant and very obvious, as you can see right here, is that Jupiter at 3 degrees of Cancer is making a conjunction to this moon. Now it's 1 degree away, but 1 degree is a very close orb. So it's pretty much exact. And Jupiter is the planet that magnifies anything that he touches. So he is highlighting, he's opening up, he's expanding the energy of this new moon. Now, the positive thing about this is that whenever the sun and Jupiter come together, they create what is called a Sun-Jupiter energy. And so Sun-Jupiter days can happen when the sun and Jupiter make a conjunction, when they make a sextile, even a square, a trine, or an opposition. So the powerful ones, the most auspicious one is the trine, but the conjunction is really powerful because it really concentrates the energy. Whenever you have 3 or more planets in a sign, you have what we call a stellium. And there's 4 planets in Cancer here. You've got the sun and the moon, Jupiter, and Mercury as well. They're all dispositing this energy of Cancer, magnifying it in general. So Sun-Jupiter days are auspicious days. They are days where you can create and manifest and put things into, like plant seeds for projects, for ideas, for things that you want to manifest and create, because Jupiter brings in that like energy that will like make it bloom, and it adds to the power, right? So that's what's beautiful. And then the other thing that's really beautiful about this is that Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer, and he loves to be in this sign particularly. That's what that means. It's almost like it's a playful energy for him. He just feels good. And so what we're looking for right now, Jupiter spends a whole year in one sign. And when he's in Cancer, what we're looking for is where can we find comfort? Where can we find security? Where can we come back home to ourselves? And I think that that's one of the big themes of this moon, is how can we come home to ourselves? And what does home represent to you? With Mercury also in Cancer, and Mercury at 28 degrees of Cancer, he's really heightening the whole concept. He's bringing us into the mastership of emotional intelligence. So when you master your emotions, that would be like one of the ways you master them would be like 29 degrees of Cancer, right? When you master your emotions, you step into emotional intelligence. And Mercury in Cancer is about dropping from the head to the heart. So we're like really in the emotional space, swimming in it, but being called to try to process, to try to heal, to try to find what's comfortable, and not to settle, but to feel secure and safe within ourselves and to truly nurture ourselves. Remember that Cancer represents home and family. Cancer is also the sign of the moon goddess, the high priestess. And in the degrees of Cancer, you have connections to goddess Isis. You have connections to the Sirius star. Now, there's nothing that is on the Sirius stargate at this time, but the sun is moving towards that stargate. Hi, Kun, welcome. That stargate, and that's going to be coming in around, it's like right about the halfway point of Cancer season. And that does activate goddess Isis. It brings us into the awareness of the Lion's Gate, which is the 888 gate, and connections to ancient Egypt, specifically the Sphinx, the Giza Plateau, the Orion's Belt, like all of the things that remind us of these ancient mythological stories that speak of how the universe works. Because Isis, the energy of Isis, connects to the expressive side of the universe, that everything flows through expression, experimentation, integration, and transcendence. And Isis herself reminds us, she's like the great mother. She's the image of the great mother. She invites us to step into expression, natural flow, and creativity, and to be at our best, to embody the high priestess. So that is a whole other layer of information that you can add to this moon. And we haven't even gone to any of the other planets, with this energy. There's another really important thing. Like, I would go straight to this next thing, and it is a yod. So we've got Pluto over here. We've got Mars over here. And we've got Jupiter and the moon over here. Now, the moon is making a sextile to Mars. And whenever there's a sextile and those two planets that are in a sextile make quincunxes to a third planet, we call that a yod in astrology. And yods are called the finger of God. So it's like, at this time when there's yods, I have a yod in my chart, and life can feel like it's divinely orchestrated. I mean, life is divinely orchestrated, but it feels like it's focused, and it feels like you've got the backing of the divine energies to guide you forward. And all you have to do is just like surrender and trust. So it's kind of like we're the little puppets. And right now it's a fated moment. Right now, humanity, because you've got Pluto, the planet of death, change, and transformation in Aquarius, the sign of the new world, of humanity, of technology, of like the Aquarian age, the yod is pointing at Pluto. So we are being invited to focus on the transformation that is happening at a deep collective level. Hello, Robin. Hello, Jeannie. Welcome in, you guys. And that's what the yod is pointing us towards. Now, Pluto essentially destroys, but because he also creates, and Pluto is the ultimate planet of liberation. So the liberation of humanity is the focus of right now. And how that's unfolding, obviously there's a lot going on in the collective that we can watch, that we can see, but it's tumultuous at the same time. It's like, it's Pluto. He's the god of the underworld. It's also about truth, seeing the truth. So where in your life are you not feeling comfortable in your own skin? How can you organize yourself and your life and clear away and let go of all the things that make you feel like you have to have control over all the little things? And then you have to surrender to the shamanic death that the collective is being invited into, and find new ways, completely new ways, never have seen before, to relate to each other from a place of security. This is a huge moon, right? So let's see, what else do we have being expressed here? There is let's look at Uranus. I mean, it's a big deal because Uranus is the planet of revolution, change. This is the last new moon or full moon that he's going to be in Taurus. And he's actually at 29 degrees of Taurus, which is a very highly active energy. And it does speak of the mastership of the earth energy through Uranus. So it's like the ultimate shifting, the ultimate like transformation, where it's like an earthquake. Because Uranus in Taurus is like an earthquake, but he's finishing this journey and he's getting ready to enter into a new journey. And that will be Gemini when he moves in on July 7th. So hello, Maria, welcome in. So this is an electrifying energy. And remember that this Uranus energy will disposit anything in Aquarius. So you have to look at Uranus to see how is Pluto going to affect us and awaken us. Because Uranus is the awakener. 29 degrees is wake up. We're getting ready to shift. We're done with this journey. We have completed it. When we have the full moon in Capricorn in 2 weeks, Uranus is not even going to be in Taurus anymore. It's going to be in Gemini. And then Gemini energy will be dispositing the energy of Pluto. So, I mean, it's like there's this shifting. It's a shift point. To have a new moon is like you have to set an intention too. And the intention is the whole energy is bringing change, death, transformation. You have to surrender to it, or you will feel deeply, deeply, it'll be difficult to move through if you're not flowing, is what I'm trying to say. There is these are sextiling. So Uranus and Mercury are definitely making a sextile. So that is bringing in the insights, the new ideas, the ability to like see beyond the veil and to understand things from a higher mind and to be open to things changing as well. The other thing that's happening is Venus is making a sextile and a trine to the nodes. So she's the one that is helping us to find alignment right now. Alignment with our purpose, to let go of the past and to focus on moving forward into the future. And this is like essentially calling us into more of a spiritual energy. The North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo is to not get stuck. The lesson is don't get stuck in the details of things because you'll really get lost right now. You have to trust and expand and feel the boundlessness and the uncomfortability of boundlessness of Pisces while you're swimming, So like you have to surrender to the fact that we are kind of swimming in this like sea of confusion. There's a little bit of confusion because also what is happening with this moon is it's making a square to Saturn and Neptune, and that's the challenge. The challenge is to be okay with not being okay. The challenge is to not need clarity right now in the moment, because there's no clarity in the moment. We're swimming. And we're swimming because of the moon and Cancer energy and the North Node in Pisces. So right now the key is to just surrender, to trust in the divine timing, right? The yod, to let the hand of God move you in your own personal life. And when you do that, we essentially do that for the collective. And there's also a square to Chiron from Mercury. It's bringing up healing. Healing does need to happen. Pretty much everything in this chart is activated by the energy of this moon. Even Uranus is trining Pluto. So they're all interconnected. Pluto is also like opposing Mercury. So I mean, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot going on, and it can feel overwhelming. So our job right now is what do we focus on? Like all this stuff going on, but the most important thing is the yod and the moon and the Cancer stellium. So basically this would be the most important stuff. Let the hand of God work through you. Find home. Find whatever home means to you. That's the message through the astrology. Now let's take a quick look at the lens of human design, and we'll end with the gene keys. So in this chart, we have no defined channels. So that just means that you have to look at your own chart and see where is this moon happening, right? So it's happening on the 52nd gate, which is called the gate of stillness. The power of the frequency of this gate is that it forms part of one of 3 channels that are called formatting channels. So they are formatting the energy of everything else. That's why this full moon is, the power is right here in the moon, in the energy of the moon. And so this is where we have the exact new moon happening. I just want to look at something real quick. Okay. So let's talk about where the 52nd gate is also in terms of the centers. So the 52nd gate is on the root center. And if anyone has this gate active, essentially this is people with deep staying power, as long as they find the right outlet through which they can be of service. So essentially this moon is helping us to sit the fuck down. Okay? Like, sit down. Stop. Just listen. Be in the stillness. Keep still. Be like the mountain. Be strong like the mountain. This is the staying power. And if we can tune into that stillness, we'll know exactly where we're going to be best of service in the world. And it's like stillness that helps us deal with the pressure and the stress of life, which is what the root center is all about. This is also understanding circuitry, which means that we're trying to understand how things work. We're trying to make sense of it. But the way that we're going to be able to do this now is to sit still and be in the stillness without trying to change anything, without trying to manipulate it. That's very, very important. As far as the other planets, we've got the North Node on the 22nd gate, the gate of openness, calling us to tune into, to like fine tune that frequency of grace under pressure and of healing from the karmic past. The South Node finds itself on the 47th. So the South Node is in the Ajna. So we might get stuck in trying to like rationalize everything, in being too much in our heads. That's what we have to watch out for. Kind of going in circles and circles with this frequency. Let's look at Jupiter. Jupiter is at the gate 15. He's not in the same gate as the sun and the moon, which is interesting. But either way, he is here. And he is at the gate of extremes. And this energy has to do with trusting in the right timing, that the cycles will manifest themselves naturally. We don't have to do anything. We just have to surrender to the right timing. There's a lot coming through in a lot of the readings I've been doing about trust in the right timing. And it's a difficult lesson. It is hard to trust in the right timing because we want things to happen now. And a lot of times trusting in the right timing means that we have to weigh and weigh and weigh. And that is hard. So Jupiter is calling this energy of us needing to adjust and adapt to the rhythm of changing circumstances. So he's helping us to adapt. That's literally what he's doing for us. And in conjunction with the energy of the moon. So we're sitting still, and in that stillness, we're finding our way towards adapting to the changes and trusting in the rhythm. Did anybody else lose audio? I just now looked at the chat. Well, I'm not even looking at the chat because I'm kind of really fully into this one. I think we're still good on the audio. On my end, it looks fine. So what else is calling my attention? The 25. Ah, yes. Saturn and Neptune. These are the two that are making squares to the moon. So the 25. The 25 is the gate of the spirit of the self. It's about maintaining our innocence through initiation. People for whom true initiation is to retain innocence despite circumstances. So they're teaching us, like, stay in that, like, innocent state, because that place has more creative potential than anything else. Does anyone have the 9th gate? Because if you have the 9th gate, you will feel the activation of the channel of concentration. So essentially the potential is to focus. Like this moon through the lens of human design is calling us to focus our energy to be like the mountain, which I think is actually really beautiful and powerful. And what other planet is important to look at here? I feel like those are the ones that are kind of really speaking to me right now. So let's look at the gene key real quick. So the gene key that this moon is landing on is the 52nd. So if you have the 9th, this moon is going to complete that channel of concentration and help you to like really focus your energy. So the gene key 52 moves from the shadow of stress to the gift of restraint to the city of stillness. And we'll read about it. But what I want to point out is that it is part of the codon ring of seeking. And the codon rings give you a deeper understanding of what is the story that this gene key forms a part of. So what is this thing about seeking? This codon ring is the great pressure codon inside human DNA. Each of the 6 gene keys within this group drives an aspect of human evolutionary movement. In the shadow frequency, this pressure creates stress and fear. Anybody in stress and fear? In the higher frequencies, this pressure generates creativity and aspiration to rise up to greater spiritual awakening. Together, these 6 pressures drive you to seek answers that can bring an end to the longing inside you. All seeking is therefore partially rooted in dissatisfaction, and all seeking eventually leads you inwards. So this moon is taking us in, wants us to go in. It is this turning in that unlocks the huge reservoirs of vitality that are available to you when you relax enough. That's why it's Keep Still Mountain. As you see that all seeking is simply life looking for itself, you begin to stop seeking, and that's the key. As the pressure within you falls away, the vital energy becomes clearer and more radiant within you. The ring of seeking, we're seeking something. What are we seeking? What are you seeking? Literally, what are you seeking? Is the question that you should be asking yourself. Now, let's dive into the Siddhic frequency. So, the Siddhi is stillness. The stilling of the wave. An interesting phenomenon occurs at the highest level of frequency that may help us understand why the Siddhic state transcends frequency altogether. If you consider what frequency really is, the oscillation of energy waves at different speeds and intervals, you will find that there is a paradox when you take frequency to either of its extremes. Energy waves oscillating at lower and lower frequencies would eventually stop altogether, and you could experience nothingness. At the end of the spectrum, energy waves vibrating at higher and higher frequencies eventually become so close together that they merge to create another kind of nothingness. This nothingness represents the Siddhic state. Obviously, there are many words used to describe this state: bliss or universal love, or in the case of the 52nd Siddhi, stillness. The Siddhi of stillness can greatly help us understand this concept of transcending frequency. Paradoxically, both ends of the spectrum lead to the same state. At both extremes of the spectrum, we experience stillness. Many spiritual systems or great teachers have referred to the ultimate enlightened state as nothingness or void. The Buddha was particularly fond of this terminology. In fact, this 52nd city has a real taste of the Buddha about it. The ancient Chinese names the 52nd hexagram of the I Ching keeping still mountain. And one is reminded here of the image of Buddha sitting in absolute stillness beneath his Bodhi tree, waiting for all phenomena to dissolve and the true reality of enlightenment to shine through. When a being attains realization through the 52nd city, some intriguing things occur. Since all frequency and energy patterns are experienced as stopping, you find yourself sitting at the heart of all creation. All phenomena are experienced as wheeling around you as you become the still point of existence itself. Oh my God, I love this. The incredible sheath of fear and stress created by the world aura no longer can touch you, since you occupy a space outside of all vibration. This is why mystics use the terms such as the spaceless space to describe this state. Along with the stillness comes the experience of the 58th city of bliss, the programming partner of the 52nd city. These two great cities, the 58th and the 52nd and 58th, mirror one of the great universal concepts of geometry and physics, the torus. The torus is a multidimensional geometric figure that lies at the heart of all space-time. The torus demonstrates the universal laws of energy dynamics based on torque and spiraling forces. At one end of the torus is the black hole, representing the yin pole that sucks, contracts, and enfolds all energy and matter into itself. At the other end of the torus is the white pole, representing the yang pole that releases, creates, and expands all energy and matter outwards to create space-time itself. The torus is a magnificent figure that unites centrifugal and centripetal forces, bringing implosive and explosive dynamics into the same system. Within human DNA, the torus, the heart of all being, is directly experienced through the state of enlightenment, which unites stillness, the black hole, with bliss, the white hole. This experience of utter stillness and bliss is derived from a higher functioning of our genetics. The human endocrine system is essentially an alchemical factory in which chemicals and hormones are combined and created. As we saw with the 52nd shadow, the glandular functions of the body secrete the hormone adrenaline whenever this shadow is activated through fear. People living within the illusory field of the low frequencies are actually addicted to this hormone and the fear that it creates, or the fear that creates it. Whoa. However, at the acidic level of frequency or lack of frequency, the body actually creates hormones and neurotransmitters that are extremely rarefied. Every city has its unique glandular secretion, and in the case of the 52nd city, a hormone is secreted which induces bliss and stillness throughout the body. For millennia, humans have sought these magical secretions and have mythologized them as elixirs and panaceas that can be created chemically. In recent years, certain substances and drugs have been created that imitate or activate these hormonal secretions, an example of which is the drug ecstasy. What we need to understand is that the process of mutation leading to such hormonal secretions is a highly delicate organic process that is catalyzed by a far more subtle process occurring at an energetic level. As this process has passed through many organic states without interference, the body creates a physical counterpart to the subtle process that has taken place. In the case of the 52nd city, the experience of time standing still is reflected through a neurotransmitter that effectively stops thought when awareness is not required for communication. If you have read the 55th gene key, you have read about the collective phenomenon that will soon be coming into the world, known as the stilling of the wave. This phenomenon will come about as a result of a physical genetic mutation that is predicted to sweep through humanity beginning around the year 2027. This mutation will trigger a sequential process involving the flowering of the 64 gene keys at a collective level and the expanding emergence of the gifts and cities in the world. Ooh, the expression stilling of the wave refers to the stilling of the chaotic emotional energy field that currently dominates our planet. One of the cities we will see coming into the world more and more is the 52nd city. Remember that this 52nd gene key is a seed archetype, and it concerns the unfolding of intention into individual destiny through service. As all the cities are collective in nature, the 52nd city also contains the seed of a great new beginning and the original intention and dream of mankind to realize our position as the stillpoint and the heart of creation itself. The 52nd city contains within itself the power to focus humanity into a single unified pattern. It emanates a collective energy field that will eventually pacify the human emotional system. The 52nd shadow of stress is closely related to time. Much stress is caused because people experience time as moving so fast that they panic and try to catch up with it. The aura of a single being manifesting this 52nd city will literally stop the thoughts of everyone in their vicinity. It is a city that increases the wavelength between the particles of the subatomic world, and in doing so, it slows down perceived time. Every city floods the energy field of humanity with its essence, so the presence of even a small number of beings at this level of consciousness will change the way in which all human emotions operate. This kind of influx of stillness into our planetary aura will make it possible for many millions of people to follow their right destiny into far wider service of the whole. Whoa. That is huge. Stillness. Keeping still mountain. All right. Let me read to you what I wrote in the Seasons and Stargates book about this new moon. Here's my channeled message. The High Priestess walks into the room in her full power. She's got the backing of 1,000 horses and 1,000 suns. Many moons have come and gone, and she has patiently waited for her moment to arrive. She stands in the eye of the storm with the swirling winds of her soul. There is nothing more powerful than this stillness. From this place, she sees it all. Nothing outside of the space is fixed, but she is anchored in the middle. She knows not to look for answers in the fleeting waves of emotions that pass through her, and yet she knows the wisdom is born of this space. So she waits and waits, surrendered to the waves and waves. They pass through her, but don't stir her. She knows the answer is just around the corner. But she must close her eyes and restrain herself from trying to make sense of anything right now. The finger of God calls her to uncover her power, and it is through a higher mental awareness that she finds her way back home. Suddenly, the energy subsides and everything becomes clear. As she looks into the clear crystal waters, she sees her reflection. It tells her everything she needs to know. As within, so without. As above, so below. The balance of power is here, and the world is understood. As she steps into this clarity, she sees her path ahead clearly. She takes her first step and somehow knows she is in full alignment with her soul. I needed to hear that. Okay. Wow, that was powerful. I blow my own mind when I read what I wrote. So, are you guys ready for this beautiful new moon? We're going to gather tomorrow here. We're going to gather tomorrow here and do our sacred ceremony and ritual. I'll do a card reading for the collective. I'll open up the Akashic records and we'll dive in and channel a message and see what this moon wants to tell us with tarot and oracle cards. And I'll also play some new, not new, but some original songs and music with the guitar. So come join us tomorrow. Thank you guys again so much for being here, for watching these videos, for supporting me in this way. When you show up, you make me feel seen and recognized, and that means so much to me. So I appreciate all of you. And thank you to those that are part of our global community or Channel for Grace network and that are taking my classes and courses. It is really, really beautiful thing. Thank you for holding space for each other in this crazy, crazy world. I hope you have a beautiful new moon. I hope that I see you tomorrow for the new moon ceremony and have fun. Satanam, 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 Satanam. Wahe Guru.